Today I'll be discussing my thoughts on the 2019 coaster announcements so far. Could 2019 be the year of the launch coaster? Stay tuned to find out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Alright guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here and roller coasters are what you're into, then please consider subscribing for content all about roller coasters. So sorry, I know this is pretty late, but I wanted to wait for just in case more 2019 announcements come. So overall, I think 2019 is a very interesting year. Most of the coasters that are announced for 2019 are not necessarily new concepts, but they're coaster models that we, or at least I, don't see popping up a lot. In 2018, there were new concepts like Time Traveler and the Raptors, but at the same time there were a lot of RMCs and a lot of mocks. But there are a lot of launch coasters coming, but they're not all from the same manufacturer. One's from Mock, one's from Intamin, one's from Premier, one's from Gerstlauer, and one's from S&Ss. We see new concepts like Steel Curtain and Fly, and we also get a record-breaking dive coaster, a second Mock Big Dipper, and a new Gerstlauer Infinity. But I think most people will agree that 2019 will be the year of the launch coaster. I'd say 2017 was the year of the wooden coaster, while 2018 was the year of the RMC. But 2019 will become the year of the launch coaster because I counted at least 8 launch coasters coming next year so far. Also, something I noticed was that the names for the new coasters aren't the best. They're not bad names like but they're not the greatest names. Some that stand out to me: Steel Curtain, Yukon Striker. These names aren't the greatest, but they're still not bad though. So the Six Flags announcements for 2019 are very good. I know there are a lot of clones, like 3 Giant Discoveries, 1 Free Spin, 2 Super Loops, a Starflyer, and DC names. But in terms of coasters, this is a really strong year for Six Flags. They're adding a Premier multi-launch dueling coaster, an air launch coaster, a free spin, and a floorless conversion to Apocalypse. Deciding whether 2019 is better than 2018 is debatable, but I'm surprised that there were no Skywarps, Tourbillons, and RMCs. But I think they consider Tourbillons and Skywarps fails. I like how they're adding more kids areas to Frontier City and I think Six Flags St. Louis. They really should balance their parks ride lineups so that families can enjoy their parks too. Also, it's good that they're actually adding stuff to the new parks. Darien Lake is getting a Starflyer, and Frontier City is getting a kids area. I mean, they gotta buy those parks for a reason, right? But I do think this is a great year for Six Flags, and I hope they could do better in the future. Cedar Fair's announcements, however, aren't the greatest in my opinion, because as far as I know, there were only 4 announcements. You got the 2 coasters coming to Canada's Wonderland and Carowinds. Cedar Point will be replacing Dinosaurs Alive with something, and Kings Island will be bringing back antique cars. Please tell me in the comments if there are any more Cedar Fair announcements, but I've heard Cedar Fair is going down in attendance, so maybe that's why. I don't think this is the worst year for Cedar Fair. That might be 2017, but it's definitely not the greatest. Now I'm going to give my mini thoughts on each 2019 coaster so far. Full analyses on the coasters could come to my channel, but I'll be only discussing my thoughts on the coasters where a full layout was officially released. So I won't be talking about RMC Robin Hood, Fly, the 2 major Gerstlauer coasters, the Harry Potter coaster, and this is in order of when I first heard the official announcement. Starting things off, the Takabisha clone coming to American Dream looks insane. It's good that we have a Takabisha clone so we don't have to go to Japan to ride it. But there are other coasters in that park that make me want to go there. Anyways, to be honest, I wish it wasn't a clone because it could get more attention for being the world's steepest coaster instead of being a Takabisha clone. But I hope this ride plays out well and we could see more Gerstlauers in the US. Taiga looks like an insane ride. I think it could possibly be top 25 in the world if it runs really good. I'm just worried about the pacing seen from some No Limits 2 renditions, but it looks very intense. Steel Curtain is a very unique coaster. I could see it being underrated since people hate on it for the theme. Yes, I do think the name sucks, but if it was named something else, it would have much more attention, and I love the layout. It's very reminiscent of RMCs. Dynamite will be Mock's second Big Dipper, and this ride looks really fun. Although it does look a little short, the pacing on this looks insane, and it looks very intense. I just hope this ride doesn't develop a rattle like what I hear about Lost Gravity. Yukon Striker, I don't really see any real complaints about the ride. The name's fine. I like the color scheme and I like the theme. I haven't ridden a new B&M yet, so I can't judge about the vest restraints, but I heard they suck. And also the second half has a very gatekeeper-like ending, but this ride's second half is just extra length to get it to the brake run and help operations. And I also think this is a really good fit for Canada's Wonderland. Now, the Six Flags coaster announcements were very interesting. It was not what I thought they would add. Now, of course, they're adding the free spin, but besides that, these additions are not what I'd say are innovative, but it's coaster models that we, or at least I, don't see popping up at parks too often. First one is West Coast Racers. This is a Premier Rides quadruple launch Mobius loop coaster. That sounds really cool. And if you want me to be completely honest, this is a great addition, and I would be excited for it if it didn't go to Six Flags Magic Mountain. Out of all the coasters that this park needed, this was at the very bottom of options. This would be a really great fit for Six Flags Great Adventure, but they gave it to Magic Mountain instead. Like what other people are saying, this is the second half of Full Throttle. But jokes aside, I think this will be a very fun ride, but not a good fit for the park. But at least, congratulations to Six Flags Magic Mountain for hitting 20 coasters. That is insane. But a coaster that I'm very hyped about is Max Force. This is an S&S air launch coaster, and this might be pretty high on my bucket list because this will have the fastest acceleration on a coaster in North America. My favorite coaster as of when this video was uploaded had one incredibly insane launch, and if I thought that was legendary, I really need to think again because this ride will completely blow me away in terms of that launch. And instead of doing a couple bank turns after, this will have very crazy inversions like a banana roll, hell roll V2, and a very weird double looping inversion that looks really cool. Copperhead Strike is the other Cedar Fair coaster announcement, and this looks fantastic. It is basically Icon on steroids. I like how the second launch is an airtime hill, and some of the inversions look to provide some really good hang time. And one thing that popped out to me was how compact this is. The exit out of the first vertical loop looks very forceful, and a lot of No Limits 2 predictions had very spread out layouts, while this is compact. I'm really glad that Mach is making more Intamin-like layouts with their more recent coasters like this, Icon, and DC Rivals. Okay, so for a long time, many enthusiasts were wondering if Busch Gardens Tampa would get either a Skyrocket 2 or RMC Gwazi. And many enthusiasts were groaning because it would probably be a Skyrocket 2. But then Busch Gardens Tampa comes out and says, you know, why not get both? So Busch Gardens Tampa will be getting both Tigris, a Skyrocket 2 for 2019, and RMC Gwazi for 2020. Well, that's basically confirmed, but we'll save RMC Gwazi for later. Anyways, I think Tigris will be a good fit. I just don't like the comfort collars, and I also really love the name and the colors. Hakuge, yes, I'm calling RMC White Cycle that because it sounds cooler than saying White Whale or Moby Dick. But this looks absolutely insane. It probably has the world's biggest double up and the world's biggest double down, but this coaster seems to pack a lot in its layout. It is definitely a top tier RMC. But I'm not going to share my full thoughts unless I see the full layout for the ride, as there is a POV of only the first half of the ride. I wish they could show the second part. Kentucky Flyer will be the world's first coaster to have an animation made in Planet Coaster. Yes, they use Planet Coaster to announce this new Gravity Group family coaster. Weird, right? But I'm hearing only positive things about these coasters, like from Wooden Warrior, Oscar's Wacky Taxi, and Rorosaurus. But I just don't see this being the best fit, as they already have a wooden coaster with airtime. But this could be a good modern Woody for the park, and a good family coaster. That's it as far as the 2019 announcements go. So what's weird about 2019 is that it's in the middle of two big years. 2018 was a really big year, there were a lot of elite coasters, and 2020 is going to be a really big year too. We see RMC Gwazi, Energylandia's 2 coasters, and Hershey Park's Hyper so far. And that's already a really good lineup. So you would think 2019 is a small year, but no. 2019 is shaping up to be a pretty big year. Also, another thing that I noticed is that a lot of the announcements so far are pretty mysterious. I mean, we only got POVs for the Cedar Fair coasters, Steel Curtain, and Dynamite, and half a POV of Hakuge. And of course, you can look up a POV for cloned coasters that are coming next year. But those are my overall thoughts on the 2019 coaster lineup so far, but I want to know, what are your thoughts? So let me know down in the comments, what do you think of the new 2019 coasters? If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like. I really appreciate it. And if you're new here and roller coasters are what you're into, then please consider subscribing for content all about roller coasters. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.